The characters that you write about will become more interesting to your readers and to you if you understand how to use personality types when crafting a story. In this episode, what are the 9 most useful personality types to know about, and how do you use that to create incredible stories that you're proud of, that have a character who wants something, they can't have it, they do something about it, and then something changes. Get some genius level ideas for your writing by wrapping your head around personality types. What is a personality type? A personality type is a way to see the differences in people by seeing a kind of need that a person has. That need, that personality type, it influences their thinking. It influences what they say and what they do. A personality type, it's all about patterns in the way a character thinks, speaks, and acts. What they think, what they say, what they do. Why should you bother to spend time learning these 9 personality types? Well, it's helpful to create a consistent character for your story. Again, a story has a character who wants something, they can't have it, they do something, and then something changes. And a personality type helps you to get a clearer idea of who that character is. That first part of the equation, that first ingredient. Who is this character? And a personality type can help you access really creative, rich ideas about who the person is because you understand their deeper needs and why it is they think the way they do, why they say what they do, and why they act the way that they do. So remember, all great writing basically comes down to 2 muscles. How strong are your ideas, and how strong are the words you use to express those ideas? And understanding personality types, this is like going to the gym for your ideas muscle. You will get great ideas for your characters when you understand personality types, because you'll begin to understand what a character might want and why that type of character can't have it, and what that type of character might do about that, and even what might change for them. So personality types are a way of taking a group of people and understanding the differences between them. So let's imagine you have a group of people in front of you, and for some reason you want to put them into different groups, different types. So you could put them into different types of people by the things that you see. So for example, what they're wearing. Maybe some have jerseys, some have hoodies, some have sweatshirts, and some have t-shirts. Now, what we're doing is we're at the same time seeing what's the same about them and what's different. We're saying what's the same is they're all wearing some kind of top. But we can see that each type of person has a different type of top on. You could also categorize this group, looking for different types by looking at their pants. So one type of pants could be shorts, and another is jeans, and another is trousers, and you could sort the people into those different groups. Again, the thing that's the same is what are they wearing on their legs, but we're seeing that there's different types of things that the people are wearing on their legs. Now, those are examples of how you can look at someone and create types based on the things you see on the outside of them. But this personality types thing, it's more about what's happening inside of them. And you can't just see that always by looking at them. So the personality types we're looking at, they're about putting people into 9 different groups, 9 different types of patterns about the way characters think. So what they focus on, what they say, so like what they talk about, and to some degree, even what they do. So why are they motivated to do the things they do? Why do they do what they do? And the 9 different personality types we're going to look at, each have a need that is important to them. There's something that they need. They feel they need this, and that influences what they think, what they say, and what they do. And they're constantly asking themselves a question. And they believe if they can answer this question, they'll get the thing that they need. And again, that influences how they think, what they say, what they do. So we're going to go through these 9 different personality types, and we're going to look at what the need is, and we're going to look at their constant question. And this constant question is helpful for you to build your ideas muscle, because at any point when you're trying to craft your story and plan it and come up with a story, you can always just jump to this question Imagine the character asking themselves this question, and it will probably help you with some ideas in your story. So let's get into it. As we look through these 9 different types of personalities, I would like you to make connections. Think about your favorite stories. Think of your favorite characters, or perhaps your most hated characters from your favorite stories, and try to guess which of these 9 personality types they are. You could also do this with video games. You could do it with your friends, with parents. You could do it with, anybody, real or imagined. What you start to notice is these 9 different personality types seem to pop up almost everywhere. Oh yeah, and this information, it has come from a thing called the enneagram. I'm not an expert in the enneagram. They use numbers for each of these types. The numbers, it doesn't mean that one is better than the other or the number of points they have or something like that. It's just the order that they're being introduced in. So type 1, let's look at its need and its constant question. Type 1 needs to be correct. They need to be correct, not just themselves, but they need everything around them to be correct. They desire everything to be right with no errors. And the constant question they are asking themselves is, how could things be better than they are right now? How could things be better than they are right now? Because they desire everything to be correct with no errors, and they need to be correct, both themselves and for the world around them. So that's type 1. Can you imagine characters who want everything to be correct? They don't want there to be errors. And they're constantly asking themselves that question, how could things be better than they are right now? That's type 1. Type 2, second personality type. They need to be helpful. See, they desire to be recognized for their help and effort. They want to be seen as helpful and useful. They want people to believe that they matter, that the things they do for them matter. And their constant question they're asking themselves are, how can I be useful right now? How can I be useful right now? Because if I'm useful, I can be recognized for my help and my effort, and I'm worthy. I'm useful. Others let me know that I'm useful when they let me know that I am helpful. So again, see if you can make connections for that type 2. The person who needs to be helpful. Type 3, their need is to be valued. They desire for recognition of accomplishments and for what's impressive. Impressive for themselves and also impressive for others. And their constant question is, what can I do that is important to others right now? So why is it that being important to others is so important? Well, it's because they're desiring for that recognition from others of their accomplishments and of what's impressive, because they think if they can be impressive in the eyes of others, then they truly feel valued. Type 3 needs to be valued. Constant question, what can I do that is important to others right now? Type 4 needs to be unique. Needs to have what is special about them recognized. They desire to have what is special, unique, and truly them recognized by others. There's this sense of they're not quite like everybody else. There's everybody else and then there's me. There's something that's different about me. And their constant question is, how could I express what feels authentic, what feels true, what feels real to me right now? And why would that matter to them? Well, they want to express that thing that's authentic, that's true about them to others. Because if they do that, then others will be able to see what's special and what's unique about them and to have that recognized. So type 4 needs to be unique. Think through all the stories you know. Is there a character that might be operating with that need? And for all of these, try to think about, how would this influence the way that a character would think if they're asking themselves this constant question? How would it influence what they say and how they speak with others? And how will it influence what they do to try and answer that question and to meet that need? On to our 5th personality type, the type 5. needs to be competent. Needs to be competent. They desire for everything to be understandable. And their constant question is, what do I need to know right now? Why would they be asking themselves, what do I need to know right now? Well, they want everything to be understandable because they don't want to become overwhelmed. And they feel that if they can be competent, if they can just understand why everything is the way that it is, then they will be all right. So they need to be competent. They desire everything to be understandable. They believe if they just spend enough time, they can understand everything and know everything. And their constant question is, what do I need to know right now so that I'm competent, so that I can handle this, so that I got this? Type 6 needs to be certain. Type 6 needs to be certain. They desire for everything to be predictable and without threat. They want everything to be predictable and to not be threatened by anything. So if you're wanting everything to be predictable, well, their constant question is, what can I trust right now? What can I trust right now? What can I be certain about right now? And why are they asking themselves that in every moment? Well, it's because they desire everything to be predictable without threat. And they're wanting to know right now, what can I trust so that this is predictable? I'm not going to be surprised by anything uncertain. I'm not going to be threatened by the uncertainty right now. What can I trust right now so that everything can be predictable without threat? Because type 6 needs to be certain. Type 7 needs to be stimulated. Type 7 needs to be stimulated, desires for everything to be new, exciting, and interesting. And their constant question, how could right now be even more interesting? There's always stuff going on around us at all times, but how could we turn the volume up a little bit more? How could we make this more exciting? How could we make this more interesting? How could we even make this more sad? We just want to make sure that things are as stimulating as possible. So the constant question is, how could right now be even more interesting? And why are they asking themselves that? Well, it's because they desire for everything to be new, exciting, and interesting. And why? Well, it's because they have this need to be stimulated, to have their attention taken by what it is they're doing. Next up, the type 8 needs to be in control. They desire for nothing to be in their way. They do not want anyone or anything to stand in their way. And their constant question is, how can I maintain control over what I do right now? How can I maintain control over what I do right now? Why are they asking themselves about how they can maintain control over what they're doing right now? Well, it's because they desire for nothing to be in their way. They don't want someone else or something else to stop them from doing what they want to do. Now, I don't want you to necessarily think that they want to do bad things. This also includes good things, but they desire to be independent and to be in control and have no one else stop them because they desire to be in control. And finally, the last of our 9 personality types, type 9, needs to be harmonious. They want harmony. They desire for everything to be smooth without conflict. That means both inside them and in the world. They want inner harmony. They want outer harmony. They want everything to be smooth without conflict. And their constant question is, how can I keep things chill right now? How can I keep things chill right now for me and for everybody else around me? And why would they be asking, how can I keep things chill right now? It's because they desire everything to be smooth and without conflict. They want harmony. Think of the word harmony like in music. You want all of the notes playing together to make something great. They want harmony. They don't want conflict. So there are the 9 personality types that I'm suggesting will be very helpful for you. for when you are creating a character. Because each of these personality types has a very different need than the others and has a very different constant question that they're asking themselves. Their answer to that question, it can be heard in what they say, how they speak, and what they share with others. And that answer to that question can be seen in what they do. So again, great writing comes from strong ideas that are conveyed through strong words. We're trying to build your ideas muscle and your words muscle. We want both to be as strong as possible. And every story has 5 ingredients. A character who wants something, they can't have it, they do something changes because of what they do. So this personality type stuff, how does this help you? Well, it helps you create that character. And I want to connect this back to our previous episode where we talked about a character's skills. And we combine the personality types with the skills, we get a very strong sense of who this character is and what it is that they would want and why that kind of character couldn't have it, what they would do about it, and what would change for them. Combining the personality type and the different levels of skills helps you to create a consistent character to build a story around that you will be proud of and your readers will find interesting and they will get invested in it. So what I would recommend that you do, start with the skills constellation. Go back. We talked about mental skills, physical skills, and social skills. And we talked about how a character is either high, medium, or low in those. Basically, having high skills gives a character an advantage in that kind of skill. Being medium, it's kind of neutral, not really a strength, not really a weakness. And if a character is low in that kind of skill, it's a disadvantage of some sort. What I'd encourage you to do is create a constellation of those skills. Let's just say high physical skills, low mental skills, and medium social skills. Even just with that, we can get a pretty strong sense of who a character is. But now take those high physical skills, low mental skills, and medium social skills. Begin to think, what would that look like if the character's need, like a type 1, was to be correct? And how would that same mix of skills, high physical, low mental, medium social, what would that look like if the character is a type 2 and needs to be helpful instead of being correct like a type 1? And what if they wanted to be like a type 3 and needed to be valued? But what if that same character with those high physical skills, low mental, medium social, what if they needed to be seen as unique like a type 4? What if they needed to be competent like a type 5? What if they always needed to be certain? They're asking themselves, what can I trust right now like a type 6? What if they needed to be stimulated like a type 7? And we're constantly asking themselves, how could right now be even more interesting? What if they were like a type 8 and they needed to be in control? What if they were a type 9? They wanted everything to be smooth and harmonious. How would we see that through those high physical skills, lower mental skills, those medium social skills? And I hope I haven't ruined every story for you now, because now that you're aware of these personality types, they will probably start to jump out at you. You might just be watching your favorite movie, your favorite Netflix series, and all of a sudden you go, ooh, that character is kind of looking like this type. Oh, I can see that they have this need. Oh, and I can see because of the way they're thinking, what they're saying, and what they're doing, that they're trying to answer their constant question. And what you'll notice is most story crafters, most writers, they make sure that all of these types, or at least a variety of these types, are found in a story. So sometimes it's true, you might have 2 characters who are the same type, but even if you do, they'll usually be very different expressions of it. I mean, there are good ways, and there are not so good ways to meet your need and answer your constant question. But what you will notice is if you've got, say, 10 characters in a story, it's most likely that almost all of these different personality types can be found because it's the collision, it's that mix. It's when one type meets another type and they have different needs They have different desires. They have different constant questions that really interesting ideas, really interesting plot twists, really interesting moments, really interesting sayings, really interesting interactions begin to pop up. It's this mix of personality types that create interesting conflict, which creates interesting stories. So, when you are building your ideas muscle for a story, you're imagining a character who wants something, they can't have it, they do something, and something changes because of what they do. First, I would suggest starting with the skills. So you think about what the character has advantages in, what they're neutral in, what they have disadvantages in, and then think what kind of personality type would this character have? And then let your imagination explode with all of the possibilities. Because the more specific you can feel and understand the character you're writing about, I can guarantee you will be more interested in your writing. You will be more proud of your writing, and your readers will become more invested and interested in the characters you're writing about. And understanding personality types is a really strong way to do that. And when you're imagining who that character is and what they're like, this personality type, it can really influence what they want, why they can't have it, what they would do about it. I mean, each of these different personality types would probably approach the same situation. They might all want the same thing. They might not even be able to have it for the same reason. They can't have it for the same reason, but all 9 of them would probably do something totally different than the others. And then at the end, when something changes, there's probably something that changes for them that's unique and connected to their personality type. When you look at what their need is, what their desire is, what their constant question is, there's probably something that connects back to that changes at the end of the story. Maybe they need to become a little bit less the way that they are. Or maybe there's some really good thing about them, about their type, that maybe they need to do in a new way or a better way. So personality types, I hope this helps to build your ideas muscles. Watch some of your favorite films, read some of your favorite stories, look at the people around you, and try to notice these different personality types, these different needs and wants and constant questions around you. And then, when you sit down and you start to think of your character, use this to help you come up with new creative ideas that you really care about. Because if you care about them, I can almost guarantee you that your readers will too. So our first few episodes have been about building your ideas muscle. Next, we're going to shift over to talking about description in our next episode, and we're going to begin to build that words muscle. We're going to look at the 8 kinds of description: thoughts, feelings, dialogue, relationships, actions, objects, setting, and context. And we're going to teach you how to use this like a painter's palette to help your story come to life through the words that you write. For the Story Crafting Company, I'm Rob McLeod.